Hey everybody, it's Rodney, the Georgia Web Warrior, your friendly group admin. Well, I am actually here today. I'm fresh out of Facebook jail. Many of you read the comments about what happened yesterday. I'd say about 3 hours before I was due to go live, I made a comment in the group, and um, suddenly I found myself in Facebook jail. It had to do with Delta 8, which I have since closed down the comment thread for, so nobody else gets in trouble. But what we're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about today is geofencing. Now, some of you may have heard about it before, and some of you may have no idea what is this geofencing thing. Well, it's like a virtual fence where you can put around different areas. You could put it around different areas of town where you've got current customers in. You could give us a customer list and we could find areas like those where you have customers in. We can even put a geofence around that pesky CBD store that's around the corner from you so that you can show your ads to their customers. Now, I think that's pretty cool. I've got Park here getting ready to come in with me, and I want to go ahead and welcome Park. Let's see here. How do I do that? There we go. There he is. Click right there and add to stream. Hello, Park. How are you?
Hello, everybody.
Well, what we're trying to figure out is what is this geofencing thing, Park? Can you tell us a little bit about it? We've got some people here that have CBD stores. We've got some people here that sell to CBD stores, so they might want to find more CBD stores. Uh, can you just tell us a little bit about how this can help us acquire some new customers?
I sure can, and really thank you for the opportunity. Very excited to talk to the community about really the capabilities that we can bring to the table to help expand, your CBD business. The one thing, Rodney, is I don't have the presentation on my phone. So is there a way for you to load it, and I'll have you click through it?
Let me check. This is going to take a second, so I need you guys to stand by with me. In the meantime, can you just give us a little bit of background about geofencing itself?
Absolutely. So the technology behind geofencing is you basically put in a virtual fence around a geographic location. And so geofencing is 100% geographically aligned, or it's a geographic tool in order to go and attract you want to put that fence around a location where you've got a captive audience or an audience that you want to create awareness with, or an audience that you want to try to gain competitor market share with. So what happens is this virtual fence is put around this specific location, and anytime somebody walks into that geofence and lights up their phone, turns it on, with their face or their squiggly on Android, that phone, most phones today, I think it's around 90%, still have some degree of location services still on in their phone, either in the background or on the phone itself. So what happens is as soon as the phone lights up, that signal gets sent to a satellite. That satellite then captures the phone and creates a hashed ID. And that hashed ID protects the user's information from a privacy perspective. So we don't have access to their name or their phone number specifically. But what we do have is we have access now to their mobile device. And when we put that, when we're able to capture that device, that hashed ID, what happens then is that hashed ID comes with a bunch of third-party data associated to it because of the behaviors that they exhibit online, such as behavioral, demographic, or purchase history. And so what happens is if we put a geofence around around a CBD store, what'll happen is as soon as that person walks into that CBD store, what'll happen is we'll capture the device, we'll get the hash ID, and then let's say that we want to target males that are 18 to 35. We want to target people that are in-market CBD buyers, so we can layer in third-party purchase history data with regard to CBD. And then basically we put that filter onto that geofence, and anybody that crosses the geofence that meets those filters criteria will now be eligible to receive a banner ad from your CBD campaign. And so the banner ad will show up on any of the, what I like to say is, top places that people consume media. So think about entertainment, news, lifestyle, sports. If you're reading an article in ESPN, that's where that CBD banner will come up. And that's one of the biggest competitive advantages that Demand Local brings to the table. Is we all know, per Rodney's explanation earlier, Facebook and Google, they're not able to go and advertise in those spaces for a host of reasons. One of which is that unfortunately it's not a federally available recognized product yet. So,
well, CBD is. Let me just go back there. CBD is legal because of the 2018 Farm Bill, and it's legal in all 50 states. What is not legal at the federal level is cannabis, and I want to make that distinction between cannabis and CBD here. Park, you were talking about going into third-party data. So let me ask you a question. Could I actually put a fence around my store and then have you use that third-party data to find more customers like the ones I already have, and then target them through by residential area? Let's say that I've got a target of that I've got a 55-year-old male like me that walks in the store, and let's just say his hip hurts and he's about to have a hip replacement surgery. I hate that, but I really am. But let's say that I walk into my own store and or I walk into a store and I buy something. Okay, I'm then a customer of that store. Could you use your data to find more areas of town that have more people like me and then put a geofence around that entire area?
So a couple different use cases there. One is, so I'm from Northern California. So when I think about areas where you would want to find a CBD consumer, like you said, there might be hospitals, physical therapy clinics.
That'd be good, yeah.
And I think about, downtown Oakland, quite frankly. And so with our capabilities, what we're able to do. So just so everybody's aware, Demand Local has gone out and procured inventory and created our own private marketplace, which allows us the opportunity to go and use those media applications in order to post those types of advertisements. And there's a couple of rules and regs that we have to follow with regard to the creative or the banner ads that are served. But one of the biggest advantages, and I'll get to what you were talking about, Rodney, in a second, that one of the biggest advantages is that you don't have to go through the traditional channels of where CBD's traditionally been viewed, or the platforms that they've been viewed on that are CBD-centric type of platforms. We're able to now go and access where people are consuming media and serve them CBD creative and banner ads in order to attract them either to an online e-commerce site, or we can, create a type of incentive or an awareness or a call to action to actually have them walk into a store. So when I think about your first example, Rodney, with regard to some of the strategies, one of the strategies is specifically geofencing your CBD store. And when you're able to geofence that store, now we're able to get all of those people that light up their phones, meet the criteria. And our goal in that type of a campaign is to get them coming back, is to get them to click on the banner or create a degree of awareness that says, hey, come back in the next 30 days and get 20% off your next, or buy one, get one, or whatever type of incentive that you want to create in order to keep those customers coming back so that, your inventory continues to get used.
Let me just interject something here so we don't get sued, if I can. There is actually a CBD store it's a national brand called Your CBD Store. So we are not specifically talking nor suggesting that you target your CBD store in your area. This is generically any CBD store in your area that we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just didn't want to get sued. I'm a little gun shy. I just got Facebook jail.
So it's not yet. So think about just your specific owned store might be the better way.
Okay. All right.
So if Rodney owns Rodney CBD, he's able to go and geofence Rodney CBD and basically go and continue to serve and attract and create incentives for those consumers entering his store in order to continue to help him get reoccurring visitors. When it comes to creating a lookalike audience, we have that capability as well, depending on the pixels that we can place either on your e-commerce site, or if you've got a bunch of consumer data that you're able to upload into our system that helps us understand what type of a person is your target customer.
Mm-hmm.
Have the capabilities of creating a lookalike audience that ultimately allows us to then go into a talking to your second point, Rodney, which is it allows us the opportunity then to go and place a geofence over, call it, in Oakland, there's a, kind of a gathering place with a lot of people and restaurants around it called Lake Merritt. So if we know what that lookalike audience looks like, I can then go geofence Lake Merritt and then say, okay, great. Anybody that meets these filters based upon this lookalike audience data that we were able to create, let's go serve banners to them. And so therefore, that's another way to create an audience in order to drive traffic either again. The best use of geofencing, quite frankly, is really driving foot traffic. We can put in view through pixels to your website and basically share with you the number of people that actually were served our banners that ultimately did end up at your location or on your e-commerce site. So, geofencing at its core essence is a great complementing strategy to other strategies that you might have out there in the market right now. It's very
Like retargeting.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure everybody here knows what that is. So could you explain what retargeting is and how that would tie into geofencing and serving the ads?
Yeah, so basically from a retargeting perspective, if you've got the person in the geofence, then great, we've captured that information. But now we're going to continue once they leave that geofence for the course of 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the campaign or the potential completion event. We can continue to target and retarget those individuals. And we can even layer in, depending on the size of the campaign and the complexity, we can even look at contextual layering, which means that now we can actually go in and look for people that have been searching on their mobile devices for CBD products, things within the CBD industry. So there's a lot of different ways for us to create these communities of people that we can continue to serve these banners to over the course of, and these can be static banners and these can also be video banners. The video banners I think can be 30 seconds in duration.
Mm-hmm.
More of a budget, obviously the content's going to be a little bit more premium, but when you look at it in that context, we've got the capabilities to serve both on those, like I said, media application, and it just gives your CBD stores or e-commerce sites a greater opportunity to create more awareness, create a call to action. And one of the things that we really want to drive within these campaigns is frequency. So when you think about geofencing, you think about reach, and then you think about frequency. Frequency is the number of times that they're seeing the banner ad on the phone. And as everybody's probably well aware, advertising, 99% of it is just getting that visual, getting that saying, getting something into your head to where, you see millions upon billions of dollars within the automotive industry, because that's all they're trying to do is brand. So when you buy a car, you're going to XYZ manufacturer. So with us, what we want to do is we want to make sure that within the geofence, we understand what the population looks like so that we can achieve the proper amount of frequency, where it's, we could do a frequency of, 2 to 3 banner serves a day. We could do 10 banner serves a month. It really just depends on the pacing that our product team internally at Demand Local agrees to with the strategy that we would cultivate with you.
And I think that we all know that it's not just branding when you see things over and over and over. There's an email study that I remember looking at yesterday, and I believe it said it took 7 to 9 touches before somebody will actually buy from you. So if you put that offer in front of somebody 7 to 9 times or 70 to 90 times, it doesn't matter what the actual number is. It's not just branding. They're actually seeing your offer again and again. It's kind of like an earworm, that song you can't get out of your head. It kind of puts an earworm in their head so that, or plant, this is the right one. The plant's got the earworm. But it's not just branding. When he's talking about branding, he's talking about seeing seeing an offer, or not just seeing your name brand. I want to be clear about that because some people, we don't want to do branding. We spent so much on branding. We've got our logo and we put it out there and done all this stuff already. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actually getting you sales. We're talking about getting people through your front door, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a dual attack, if you will. It's a
Right.
dual opportunity because, again, because of the limitations of just barrier to entry when it comes to financial, and then the barriers to just getting and produce and getting that content out to your local communities, because there's so many um, positive upsides to the utilization of CBD. Like you said, I mean, I've got a dog, he's got some hip issues, so we use it there. My wife unfortunately just rolled her ankle last night, so
Oh,
she
wow.
have a little CBD to help her go to bed last night. So, for us, and when I think about it, I always tie advertising into my own personal experience. And
Mhm.
so my wife and I, we've utilized CBD for the last couple of years because it helps us in so many different ways. And so I think as you talk about it, there's an opportunity to create, awareness with regard to the positive health benefits of it, how it can help you, how it can be a great alternative. So there's an educational component from an awareness standpoint.
Right.
I think
Right.
also the branding component, but ultimately all of that is driven to help you guys drive sales, hands
And
down.
yeah, and I think the educational part is very important because there's not a CBD website that doesn't have a post up there that says what is CBD. I've never seen one, and unfortunately that's as far as most of them go. Content is king, is a saying in SEO and in advertising. You have to have content to back up your advertising, but going to the places like that area of town you were telling me about, some of them may not know what CBD is, so you might want to run partial campaign on what is CBD if you're trying to attract people that may be old farts like me, but they may not know what CBD actually is. And they may not know that it doesn't have THC in it. They may think CBD, cannabis, all this stuff, it's going to get me high. No, I don't want that. I'm a religious person. I don't want to try it. And you may be able to put out a campaign that may be able to put some education, not just in the community, but education geared towards buying, because you can track that pixel and you can then serve other ads to them later. And what I'm talking about is going through the retargeting. I don't think there's anybody in here that hasn't been to Amazon and looked at a particular product, and then 20 minutes later, when you're on CNN or when you're on Facebook or you're somewhere else, then you see that product again in a different light. You may see a little bit different advertisement, or it may just reinforce the existing advertisement, and that's retargeting. And all of this is part of what we can bring to the table, because he's not just putting a fence around places. He's got some other data that he can bring into the mix and help you guys out. This is really what we're talking about, is a full service marketing platform, right, Park?
Yeah, so Demand Local itself, just a little bit of a quick review on us. So we've been in the digital advertising space for 12 years, founded by two gentlemen who were in advertising. And over the last 5 years, we've heavily diversified into markets such as CBD, retail, legal, financial. And so when you look at a lot of these industries and the capability of how geofencing is helping them supplement their or driving their advertising campaigns, Demand Local was one of the first to the table that brought and utilized geofencing. And we're technology agnostic, so we're not tied to one.
One of our audios just went out. Was it you, Park?
Yeah, sorry, my phone
Okay,
rang. Hear
no
me?
problem. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sorry about that. So 7 years ago, when geofencing became a commercially viable and affordable product, that's when we started really investing into our product teams to understand the space, the technology players, what each one of them offered versus the other. And so basically what we're looking at now is, or what we're able to do now, is really go in and understand what type of campaign are you looking to run, what type of third party data do we need to procure, And what are the ultimate KPIs that you're trying to drive? Is it, probably the root KPI that everybody's going to try to drive is, I need to increase sales. But we could also drive additional, yeah, exactly. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
So, when you look at it in that context, it's, that's ultimately what we're trying to drive with advertising. But advertising also, like you said earlier, is also a big component is awareness. And I was just thinking about the other night hanging out with some friends and, we started talking about CBD and they was like, oh, I'll never try it. And I was like, why? Like, there's no, THC associated with it. You're not going to get all
Right.
the of all of that stuff. And so there's still a high degree of education that has to happen with this product. And so this is a great opportunity and a great platform to do so.
Hey, let me ask you something else. Let me start out by asking you a question. Do you know what a boat or a ship is? If you own a yacht, basically, you know what that is? It's a hole in the water. It's a hole in the water that you pour money into.
Because it's an
And a lot of people have that view of advertising or SEO. You say that and it's immediately gonna say, I'm just throwing money away, because maybe they tried advertising before and it didn't work. Well, maybe they tried a different brand of CBD before and it didn't work too, because it was a crappy brand of CBD.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as ROI, those are the magic letters I'm sure everybody wants to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little bit of idea how that works?
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple different ways to answer that. When I think about ROI, the top stat within advertising is going to be return on ad spend.
Yeah.
In order for us to get to that degree of actually seeing what our return of ad spend is, there's a degree of access that we need to have to your website or tech platform.
Mm-hmm.
Track the sales, the number of sales, and how that sale was brought in through demand local. Is that a case?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Sometimes it gets jammed up with just the access that we're allowed. And so then we start to bake it, we start to pull it back to say, okay, great. Then what are the KPIs that we ultimately want to drive? Which is we could drive, website views, we could drive foot traffic. When we provide so one thing to mention about demand local, whenever you do and launch a campaign with us, you'll get a dashboard built for us internally. And that dashboard is going to show the statistics of your campaign, meaning the number of impressions, the number of impressions served, the number of clicks, the number of views. Depending on the KPIs and the metrics that we want to establish, all of that will be visible to you. And so when we take a look at, what is the ROI at the beginning may be we just want to drive foot traffic from a competitor location. And so in that context, we can actually give you one-to-one reporting attribution of the number of people that saw banners in a competitive location that actually came into your store. So if you've got any type of that information as you've grown your business to say, hey, our daily foot traffic's around, call it 30 to 40 people a day.
Right.
And if come in and with our campaigns, we're able to layer in and show them our geo-conquesting and what our capabilities are to increase that foot traffic. Now, most times, if people are walking into a CBD store, they're probably going in there and they're going to make some degree of a purchase, be it they understand the market well, they know what they're looking for, so they're going to come in there to understand how they can get it there. Or, it might be a new consumer that try out something, smaller packaging, not as many, whatever it is. So from an ROI, it really just depends on the access that we can have. It also, if any of the, your CBD customers, be it e-commerce or storefront, some of the people on this might have access to their own customer data, meaning, their contact information, call it email address, cell phone number, whatever it is. We can actually use those things as well as a part of our campaign to go in and target those individuals as well in a kind of a retarget, but new target kind of capacity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, we are pushing our 25-minute talk time here. Do you still want me to go get that PDF? I don't think we needed it.
well, so I can share I have a case study that I can share with you that is actual proof in the pudding of what we did and how we did it with a specific campaign utilizing these two strategies. And so feel free to share that and the presentation if there's a link or however it works, within the Facebook Live when you send it out or people have access to it. Totally good if you want to share that. And by all means, I work very closely with Rodney. Very excited to work with any and all of you on just really at the end of the day, if you're looking just to understand it a little bit better, if you're looking for, developing a comprehensive campaign. Part of what we do at Demand Local is it's our touch with our customers. We take a very hands-on approach. We are very engaged through our product team, making sure that we're looking at the campaign performance, optimizing, and really providing the feedback from our perspective around what we think is working, what's not, and how can we adjust to achieve that ROI. So with that, Rodney, I thank you for the time and the opportunity to speak.
Well, thank you for helping us understand geofencing, Park. And we'll talk to you guys later. If anybody wants more information about that, they can comment they can comment below. They can DM me, Rodney Wise, at Facebook, or they can send me an email at GA, like Georgia, webwarrior@gmail.com, or just get a hold of me in the CBD seller support or anywhere you see me. I'm even on LinkedIn. So with that, we want to thank you for joining us, for watching this, and we wish you success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.